Thunderbolts happening. Blade is going to lose Mahershala Ali in the first half of this year, and then it's going to get canceled. That's my prediction.
I think they'll stick around.
Ooh. I would be terrified if they lost Mahershala, because then it's like you just have to cut the whole film.
Right. Welcome back to the break room. Marvel Studios' slate is an unruly shrub, hanging out in the front yard in need of a trim. And a trim they might have with Blade and Thunderbolts not being announced as 2025 releases in Disney's earning call that happened today. Someone tell Kevin Feige to grab those hedge clippers because it's time to do some pruning, baby. Today we're discussing which upcoming MCU projects are now living in the void, waiting to be consumed by Eliath, and which ones will still have a chance on the sacred timeline. Hit that graphic, Dashiell.
Whoa!
Pruned or Not.
That's right, I'm Brandon Barrick, and joining me today, always on the sacred timeline, Jay Washington.
And thank you for saying that I'm on the sacred timeline. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you get to stay.
You know what? I'm grateful. I'm honored. Thank you.
Yes.
Love you.
And the worst variant of all, John Costa.
The devil's in the details, Bev.
I like that.
Thank you.
That's great.
Okay.
You might hear producer Evan chiming in with some questions from time to time from our live Twitch chat. If you do, you win a prize. So let's get into it.
Holy shit.
Somebody commented right now. I heard the question. I heard the question.
First up, my favorite project on the slate, Shang Chi 2. Long overdue. Shang Chi, the original, and The Legend of the Ten Rings, came out September 3rd, 2021. Remember that? Still afraid to go to the movies? Probably started to wear a mask when you're in the movie theater.
You still do now.
What is
You don't have to wear a mask, but you should.
Have you not seen the humans that go in the
I do, but most people, Jay, they don't do it anymore.
Right.
Party's over, everyone. So there was development of a sequel announced that December, right after that movie, with Dustin Daniel Cretton writing and directing. Latest we heard was July 2023. We got some news with Simu Liu threading. You guys on Threads? Quote, was told it would follow Avengers, but that keeps pushing back due to circumstances beyond my control.
Also, him having surgery on like his ankle or something.
Well, yeah, he was injured on what movie?
Something he was filming. He was injured.
Not Gladiator 2. That's Pedro Pascal. I don't know. Something he was filming. He got injured on.
It's Austin Butler.
Austin Butler?
Gladiator 2?
Austin Butler injured Simu Liu. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. No, it's Paul Mescal.
Nope, not gonna get in that discussion because I'm confused. No.
Wait, sorry to derail this whole conversation.
That's all right.
When was that announced again?
That was July 2023.
July 2023.
That was Simu Liu.
So that would have been. Simu Liu said that would have been before Daniel Destin Cretton left.
King Dynasty.
And mid-strike.
Yeah, well, strikes kicking. When did the actors go on strike?
We were on strike like July.
June, July.
Yeah.
So right around that time, and I'm sure Shang-Chi 2, we saw what was projected all the way through Secret Wars. No Shang-Chi 2 there. And I'm sure Marvel's yeah, after Avengers, we'll get to it. That doesn't mean it's the first movie after the Avengers, right?
And there were definitely gaps in that slate.
Yeah. Yes, most definitely. And Dustin Daniel Cretton was working on Avengers Kang Dynasty at the time, and also producing Wonder Man. I don't know if he's directing any of the episodes.
Yeah, I think he's directing at least the first
pilot,
episode.
Yeah, the first episode. So he's busy with that stuff. Shang-Chi was just kind of out there. He leaves Kang Dynasty, and I think most of us assume, he'll be able to pivot to focusing on finishing Wonder Man, and then probably jump right into Shang-Chi 2.
We got to remember, I look at what Daniel Destin Cretton is doing, similar to a James Gunn. And not talk about running a studio. How Gunn will be working on one project, writing something else, directing something while editing something. So I think it's just he can keep moving around. Yeah. I don't think it's a big deal. I think, Shang-Chi is, it was a great movie. It was visually beautiful, right? But it isn't one of those films for the sequel that everybody is rushing to see. I hate to say, have you ever heard people really going, when am I getting this Shang-Chi sequel besides probably John?
I asked me at least once or twice.
I mean, yeah, but because we think about it.
Sure.
We think, that's a natural thought. We think about shouldn't there be a sequel to it? But it hasn't been one of those, where does this fall in the timeline?
It is a tough situation where you're late stage.
And I'm not dissing the movie, y'all, just for anybody to be
No. It is you're late stage Marvel right now. Not that this is the end of Marvel, but I would call this late stage. You've built up this empire. You've had several crossover hits. You had Endgame, which was huge, and now you're trying to figure out. You're trying to build up again, and you have characters who have been around since 2009, 2010 or something, and you also have characters you're trying to introduce tell their stories, keep this big crossover story going. So yeah, where does like a sequel to Shang-Chi fit in if it doesn't involve 10 other characters?
I think the difficult thing is with Shang-Chi, like in my opinion, Shang-Chi is probably the most loved character introduced after Phase 3, right? Phases 4 and 5. You've got like the Eternals, you've got Shang-Chi, you've got Miss Marvel, you have Moon Knight, you've got a bunch of characters.
Would you say that he's more loved than Miss Marvel?
I think so. I don't know. I think people are more excited to see more of Shang-Chi than they were to see more of Kamala Khan.
They've already gotten like a show. I mean, hours-wise, right? We've gotten
10
hours.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, in that regard.
So we have gotten a lot of her story.
And you know, personally, I think too, like, we watched Shang-Chi, correct me if I'm wrong here, were there 2 stings at the end of that movie that had like character or thing will return?
Yeah,
like
you
the
had
10
like
rings will return was one.
It was the sister
running,
and I think that they had,
and then there was the one
and I
with-
think they had like Shang-Chi will return, right?
Yeah, that was
but like
yeah.
that was so exciting for me when I said like the 10 rings will return, and you were like, Xialing was building this like empire. Like I want to watch that show so bad, or movie or whatever it's gonna be, more so than some other shit that we're about to talk about, right? Like Vision Quest and some other shows.
So, I was just.
Don't you want like an underground crime show? That'd be.
I mean,
sick.
we're about to get the underworld with Daredevil and them, basically tagging it to making it season 4 from the Netflix. I think the biggest thing now in hindsight is when they had that investors call that time back when we said we were getting Ironheart, all these different things. We were excited because it was like, oh, Marvel is expanding, it's going crazy. Marvel even was like, yo, we're going crazy. We can just make everything. And then the reviews for stuff came in, and somebody was like, y'all got to stop doing all this shit. And so now they're pulling back. Like the question is, will Ironheart ever drop?
I think it will.
We're getting Agatha. We know we're supposed to get that, but it's like there's so much stuff they shot, so much stuff they're supposed to do. We don't even know if they're pumping the brakes completely and gonna just reset, because now we say Kang Dynasty is not possibly happening. Is it happening? Is it not happening? We know Secret Wars is still supposed to happen. There's so much where it's like it's up in the air, and I think Marvel is trying to finish up what they have set, which has been shot in production, all these things. Then let's get to the end of that, and then let's move forward, because now what's everybody's biggest thing they're asking about? Where's the X-Men? Where's the X-Men? So you got to get to those different things.
Where are the fucking X-Men?
Evan, where are the X-Men?
Listen, if I knew, they'd be here. No, I agree with Jay, and I want to bring up this point that I think ties in pretty well. Dino Benino saying Shang-Chi 2 might just get gambited. Like, there's too much stuff happening around it, and it'd be hard. They'd love to see it, but it feels like it could be hard to get this sequel when, exactly what Jay's saying, like, they gotta, like, focus or, like, get to the things that people, like, the broadest scope of the audience is like, we want this.
Especially because I feel like Simu Liu's career has taken off in a way that I would not have expected it to, just based on Shang-Chi.
But John, I'm sorry, because I just want to say real quick. Everybody is damn near starting the Marvel project, though. Once you star in it, if you're not a star already, you're elevated.
No, I mean, but you're not seeing like Aman Vellani or Xochitl Gomez, and maybe that's because of those. Aman Vellani was the star of her own movie, but
Xochitl Gomez just won Dancing with the Stars.
Some of the people,
the most prestigious American award.
I mean, very true. But like a lot of these people, you've got like Yelena Belova. Florence Pugh was already kind of a star before Marvel cast her. A couple of these other people, especially like the Eternals, those people were all pretty
much
well
stars,
on their way. So like that's why I think the Simu case is especially interesting, because in comparison to other people who weren't necessarily already booking movies, that is just interesting to me.
I always look at the Marvel phenomenon as similar to what I call it the Game of Thrones phenomenon. If you're on Game of Thrones, that's it. You're elevated. Millie Alcock.
I know, man. We fucked up too. Like, we could have had a world without Jason Momoa and Fast 10.
Yeah, and because Jason Momoa, Game of Thrones. So I treat Marvel like that.
People
now.
are gonna come after me for that.
Yeah,
I'm trying to save John right
He's
now.
really good in Game of Thrones. He's the very bad in Fast
Momoa
10.
maniacs are gonna come after you.
There you go. But you get what I'm saying? Like, you have Simu, the moment he was cast as Shang-Chi, the movie didn't even have to come out.
Right.
You were the star of a movie. Now all of a sudden your agents and your reps are getting flooded with offers. So then we start seeing the back result of that, And I just think that's one of the cases with those. And like you said, everybody else now, for the most part, they're bringing in stars already. But if you go back to phase 1, they weren't stars. They were known.
The gentleman that was cast in Avatar, Sam
Warrington.
He gets cast by James Cameron, and like everyone was like, "Who is this guy?" Got cast in a bunch of other movies. He was in a ton of movies. Now he's only in Avatar movies.
Yeah, because he only
He was in that Terminator movie.
Yeah,
I do know.
But like all of Hollywood was like, "Oh, this guy's gonna be in this next huge James Cameron project. He must be a huge star. Let's cast him in everything."
Yep.
And then like they started casting.
So
him and all that stuff. But he's doing great. He's great in Avatar. Here's my other thought on Shang-Chi 2 real fast. It's just that I have a feeling like they're slow playing the sequel because they want to use this character a lot in these Avengers movies. When you hear like rumors about who are on the Avengers now, it feels like Shang-Chi is there. So it feels like they're like, hey buddy, we're gonna get to your movie. We have like big plans for you in like these next 2 Avengers movies. So like they probably feel like, well, we can't shoehorn in a continuation of his story with the plan we have now. So we're just saving it.
Maybe the big part are the 10 rings, because we didn't find out what the 10 rings were, where their origins are. I thought we were gonna get them in Quantumania. We did.
They should have had a cameo of Shang-Chi in something else at this point.
Yeah,
that's been their main.
So I think I agree with you on that.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
I say not pruned.
Not pruned. Definitely
Just to
not
put
pruned.
a finer point on it.
That's our final
This movie
verdict.
will get made. It is not pruned. It's
It's
gonna
gonna get made.
It's a good one. All right. Next on the list, Vision Quest. Now here, I would like this, but I don't think they should prune this. Right?
Yes.
This was first announced in October 2022. Which means Evan was wrong when he said it was announced shortly after WandaVision. Evan, would you like to apologize?
Yeah, I'm sorry for getting that fact wrong on Monday's Breakroom, which you can watch now on youtube.com/breakroomnr.
Except it's all lies.
Damn. So WandaVision creator Jacques Schaefer was going to be helming this project, or is scheduled to helm this project. They described it as being, quote, about the Vision, trying to regain his memory and humanity. Again, it's like the white Vision.
Yes.
Red Vision has died for the 16th time and is dead for now. With Paul Bettany,
He's dead.
He's dead for now, but no one's dead forever. Especially not a human-computer hybrid thing.
That body is gone.
With Paul Bettany saying that he will return as Vision in, quote, some way, what do you think?
So I think Vision Quest is unnecessary, because Vision Quest, when it was announced, was during that time of Marvel is still making extended movies. They're still making extended movies.
And they're saying fucking yes to everything, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think the most that they probably have for this are like some contracts signed, some concept art done. But Jack Schaefer's been working on Agatha subtitle to be determined for a long time. I don't think that they're like into writing this show, right?
And like, what is it? You know, do we want a show that's just Vision and introducing some other characters? Do we want this like a weird mix of things? I don't know if this is like a good use.
Vision is not a, in my opinion, like a leading character.
Interesting.
Don't get me wrong, Paul Bettany made Vision amazing. Right.
Yeah.
That's a given. Paul Bettany did amazing. And you know, the end of WandaVision, the white Vision versus the red Vision, cool, great scene. But now Vision trying to find himself. I don't want to see.
Dumb tabula rasa Vision is not fun.
Yes,
Like,
not fun.
I don't need like the Forrest Gump of Vision walking
Hello.
around
So
being
one
like-
day I was tricking with my Wanda, and Wanda said, "Vision, give me your baby." I said, "Wanda, I don't have a penis.
I'm smooth down there.
I'm smooth down there like a Ken doll."
Do you think
I don't need it.
do you think that he's actually smooth down there? Sorry, was this not on the rundown for today's?
Has Vision's penis been proven?
He was like
or
a
not?
human body, so he definitely has.
No,
he has
Vision's
equipment
body
down
was
there.
not. That was the one
it
thing.
Helen Cho?
Because remember,
Yeah,
Helen Cho did not
maybe.
give him that. He was basically meant to be.
You don't think Cho gave him a?
No, because he was meant to be Ultron's body.
Right? You don't think Ultron wanted a piece?
Ultron could fuck the world.
All right.
I think it's pruned. Sorry, Jack.
I think this show is. I also like. I don't want a Vision show without Wanda, man. Like that's what makes Vision really click.
That's what I'm saying. He's not like a leading character.
We've only had a few instances of Vision without Wanda. Like they buddy up pretty quick.
Yeah, everything that happens with
and they're
Vision.
so much better together.
Yeah, so it's like
That's like I don't want to. Well, this will piss off Dashiell, but like I don't want a Spock movie. Spock's boring. He's like I'm just a machine. I
Well,
see
we're
things
not
like
getting
this
any
and
more
that.
Yeah, but at
shots
least
of-
Spock is half human.
Well, like Spock is like the cool one, right? And even he's a fucking nerd, right? And
Yeah.
he's the coolest of the Vulcans. He's like, I have 2% emotion. That makes me
he's
a
human.
wild animal. And it's like, all right, Spock. Dashiell, are you okay? I'm so sorry. I don't need to speak.
Dashiell was like
also,
give me
did we
no
get
more-
our Star Trek facts right?
Yeah, did I do all right? He's like
all right.
the coolest
got a thumbs
Vulcan,
up.
right? Because he's like, I once had a feeling, and they're all like, what a rebel! Oh, this guy's a rebel. Okay, before we continue pruning things from the MCU, we'd like to thank one of our sponsors today, which is Factor. Thank you for sponsoring the Breakroom Factor. John, do you ever want like a delicious meal that's ready in almost no time?
Every day.
Do you want that is something you would like?
Sure, right now.
Well,
I
why
need to
don't
eat
you
lunch.
talk to Factor, John? They're there for you.
I didn't know that.
Factor is a meal delivery service that makes eating well easier than ever by delivering fresh, never frozen meals. You hear me? Never frozen meals right to your doorstep. So you can skip all the shopping, the chopping, the propping, which I'm saying instead of prepping, and the clonking, which is cleaning, because I wanted it to sound better. And you can just focus on eating deliciously. You know what I mean? Now you've probably heard us say the same thing about HelloFresh in the past. Should we be bringing up another company?
Factor is now owned by HelloFresh. You just gotta read.
Wow!
You just gotta read. You know what I
setting
mean?
it up, John. You don't have to make me look like a fucking
You just gotta
idiot.
read. I mean, sometimes I do want to like cook.
Sometimes I want to
I want to go all the way to the fucking.
You like to do,
Hey, let him cook.
I like
let
to
him
cook.
Let him cook.
I like to cook, but sometimes we get out of this job a little late, and I don't have time to run to Trader Joe's and get all my meals prepped.
Sometimes
and HelloFresh is going to bring me a box of things I could cook, but Factor has me covered if I don't want to dirty a pan.
That's right. Sometimes I want to cook. Sometimes I want to use technology to make little cells of water vibrate back and forth and create heat. That's what a microwave does. Heck yeah. Factor meals are pre-prepared, chef-created, and dietitian approved. There are over 35 different options a week to choose from, including keto, calorie smart, vegan, veggie, and more. Whatever new thing there is, they got that too. Plus, there are also over 55 nutrition-packed add-ons that help make your weekly meal planning even more delicious. Factor meals are ready to eat in just 2 minutes, so you can go from, yeah, I guess I'm a little hungry, to having a fantastic meal at the speed of an impulse.
This is from Zach's mom.
Okay.
I really like them. Some of the portions are too large, but most are fine. I was really surprised at how much better they taste than frozen meals.
Nope.
That's pretty good. The only downside is they give you a little bit too much. Not bad.
That's a good deal.
Not bad.
So, hey, do you want to try?
Not bad.
You want to try Factor for yourself? Head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code Breakroom50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for life. Free for life?
Read the next sentence, Brandon.
Two free wellness shots from 3 available flavors for every order while you're an active subscriber for the rest of your life.
For the rest of your life?
And plus, you're taking these wellness shots, so your life just got longer.
Whoa.
Don't quote me on
Holy
that.
shit.
That's right. Head on over to factor75.com and use code Breakroom50 to get 50% off your first Factor box and free wellness shots for as long as you subscribe. Thank you, Factor, for sponsoring the show today. Hey, did you know New Rockstars is putting up a live show in Los Angeles at Brain Dead Studios this coming Thursday, February 15th? Well, next Thursday, February 15th. At New Rockstars live shows, we cover the latest releases, have some special guests, and generally geek out with you, the audience, in person every time we've done these, including at the last show in November. It's been an absolute blast. It was a ton of fun. It's great to meet so many of you. Say hello. You can see how hideous we are in person.
Whoa.
It's an awesome...
Speak for your damn self. I've been working out and not
Jay's
as hideous
beautiful.
no more.
Jay's beautiful.
Been working out a lot.
I wasn't
you know.
spurging for Jay.
I wasn't invited to the last one
Brain Dead
because
Studio...
I'm a loose
You were
cannon.
invited. I think you were very sick, weren't you?
I was sick.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Sick in the head. Brain Dead Studios, it's an awesome old school single screen theater. Check out the New Rockstars live show if you're in the Los Angeles area. You can get a ticket by clicking on the link in the description or by heading on over to dice.fm and searching for New Rockstars. Check the link in the description if you want to check out the New Rockstars live show.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's hit a hot topic today.
I don't want to go to
Hit
Hot
him, Jay.
Topic.
Let's do a hot, you can go to Spencer's. We're going to talk about it. Thunderbolts or Blade.
Okay.
Now, what's going on? Because neither one is supposedly coming out in 2025.
That's
Yeah,
what
so
they
we had
said.
this
That's
call.
what they
Well,
say.
here's the thing. It's on a technicality. They had this call today. They said, here's some movies that are coming out in 2024, and they did not mention
2025.
Thunderbolts and Blade, leading people to speculate that maybe these films have gotten pushed. But Disney has not said definitively they've been pushed.
Okay, so
How do you feel about that, John?
Thunderbolts,
Sun's getting real low, big guy.
Thunderbolts, happening. Blade is going to lose Mahershala Ali in the first half of this year, and then it's going to get canceled. That's my prediction.
I think they'll stick around. Ooh. I mean, Thunderbolts we already heard is going to get that hasn't even begun shooting.
It did. It just started.
It just started shooting.
Just started.
I apologize. They've had a lot of casting shakeups.
Yes.
I'm not surprised that won't come out this year. That doesn't surprise me at all.
Sure.
But not hearing it at all on the slate is like interesting.
Thunderbolts is in production. There's no way, no matter what, we were getting it this year. Do we get it next year? Next year was supposed to be Kang Dynasty's year.
I think they don't want to make any more promises about movies.
That's what I was about to
we'll
say.
talk about that when we're
That's
closer.
what I was about to say. Like, we don't want to make promises. There's certain things we know we finna get. Deadpool, Fantastic Four. What else is coming up for them movie-wise?
Captain America,
Brave New World.
Yeah.
That's what you're getting movie-wise.
Yeah, don't
we can tell you about that. We'll tell you those. Everything else, because now when we make a timeline announcement, something has happened, whether it's been COVID or strikes.
Right.
And so why not say anything? Let's just drop a trailer, a Comic-Con announcement, D23 announcement, boom. As far as Mahershala and Blade, I would be terrified if they lost Mahershala, because then it's like you just have to cut the whole film.
Right. And they want him in the MCU. Incredible actor.
Do they want him? I mean,
He is in the MCU, Brandon.
He's in Eternals.
What? Oh, yeah,
His
technically.
voice. But he also,
I was
he's
talking
in
about,
Luke Cage.
And he's in Luke Cage.
But he's
yes.
dead. And they don't want to bring him back as like that character.
Because that character ain't got no face or head. No. But the thing is, like, there's been so many rewrites. The latest rumor going around is that Lilith is the bad guy. It's also, there has been rumors of it being a period piece, things like this.
He had a daughter at one point.
He had a daughter. So many things shaken up. I hate the fact that this is going the way of, speaking of, you brought a movie up earlier, Evan. I hate that this is going the way of Gambit.
Right.
That's what this feels like.
They just don't know what
to do.
I'm heartened by the fact that they're like, oh, this script isn't great.
Well, Mahershala was like, this script ain't
Well,
great.
sure, and good. Listen to people. Like, yeah, get your act together, figure it out. Could Marvel benefit from like being like Beyonce and maybe, you know, a lot is made of the marketing budgets they dump into these movies that don't lead to anything. What if they just like dropped a movie on us and they're like, oh, by the way, we'd obviously know that they shot
possible.
it.
Yeah.
But, you know, but like if it,
you have to
like
announce it.
Ironheart, right? Like we know it's been shot, we know it's done. What if they just like surprise one day?
Well, they can do
like,
that.
By the way,
because it's going on Disney Plus, so that's not a difficult thing.
I was going to say, that's kind of what they did with What If Season 2. It's kind of what they did with Echo.
Well, but they told us like, this is when it's coming. We're talking about like just a straight Beyonce surprise drop.
You wake up
this
and
is
all
now
of a sudden,
available.
You're like,
oh shit, it's on my phone.
Right.
What if they drop? Sorry, real quick.
Oh, go ahead.
What if something dropped? What if a movie dropped on Disney Plus? What if they just ate the loss and dropped a movie on Disney Plus? How would you feel about that?
We're about to get into that in a little bit.
Okay.
In a couple of ways.
So
depends on the movie, I think.
Yeah, if the movie's good.
Or does it just depend on the project in general?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. You know what I think is interesting, and I apologize, this is maybe slightly off topic, but like you're talking about the strikes and COVID. I think it's fascinating that like something we don't talk about a lot is Marvel has phase 1, 2, and 3. Those phases were like really kind of roughly planned out. You'd maybe make the argument that like phase 3 was pretty well planned out. In terms of like interconnectedness and these stories linking together and all that kind of stuff. I think it's so ironic that phases like 4, 5, and 6, Marvel came out and they were like, we have this 10-year plan and we know exactly what we're doing. It's all leading to this Kang thing. Multiverse Saga, we're going to put a name on it before we've even finished it, all that kind of stuff. And it is interesting that like Marvel had all of the good luck and serendipity in phases 1, 2, and 3 with not a huge plan. And now that they do make a plan, they've got actor deaths. They've got, VFX executives being fired. They've got COVID. They've got a strike. It's like, we talk about like the fall of Marvel or whatever, and it is just like, what? They've got to be sitting there in that studio being like, man, we're getting fucked left, right, and center.
There was a lot of intangibles they couldn't control, but I would argue that everything that came out, you were like, well, I don't see the skeleton that was so well planned out.
I think that's the
like,
biggest
you look
thing.
at a movie like Thor: Love and Thunder, and you're like, man, this got destroyed by COVID.
Yeah,
No, I think it got destroyed by Chris Hemsworth. We're gonna be honest.
Anyway, I'm just saying, I think it's interesting. It's so many things in even Quantumania where you're like, well, they really just shot this whole thing on the volume because they couldn't maybe go to different locations, stuff like that.
They couldn't get an apartment to shoot in the quantum realm.
Yeah, hey,
The
it's tough
taxes are
down
very
there.
expensive. Hey, listen, this is what they say. Kevin Feige plans, God laughs.
Do you think them announcing just to sum it all up, them announcing we have a plan was the worst thing they could have done?
I think Babe Ruthing it a little bit.
Yeah, basically, yes.
Here are
Call
the
your
dates
shot.
these movies
I'm calling
are coming
my
out.
shot.
That was a bad idea.
You brought up the Investor Day 2020, I
Yes.
think was when it was. And in this MCU book by Joanna Robinson and a couple of other folks, they say in that book that both Kathleen Kennedy and Kevin Feige were asked to make these presentations, did not have plans set up, and were kind of making shit up for that presentation. Obviously, like, some people were cast already and that kind of thing, but, like, I do think there was a lot of, like, ooh, we have to quickly decide some of this stuff, and now we're going to put it out publicly. That's why things like Rogue Squadron get canceled. All that stuff on the Star Wars side basically didn't happen, other than maybe like Andor. I don't know if they announced the Acolyte back then.
It's a weird cycle, too, because, like, there's so much media that reports on this stuff, and you get so much press by reporting these things. So it's very easy to be like, oh, yeah, we're going to do all this, get a lot of headlines and stuff, and then years later be like, oh, we're actually not doing that anymore. Don't worry about that. At least something Disney and all companies do. But Disney has done this with their parks for a long time. We talk about this, where like you see, oh, we're gonna make an expansion. Here's all the stuff it's gonna have, and then when it finally opens, it's not what they.
It's not what they
laid
thought.
out,
Yeah,
things
It's
change.
interesting, right? Like if Marvel came out and they said like, hey, we're not going to do Vision Quest anymore, no one would really be concerned if they had something, that you knew was a slam dunk coming out, right? Like in Humans, they announced, it ended up like, I don't know if it ended up morphing into the TV show or if they were sort of unrelated projects that just happened to both follow in Humans. But it is like, when Humans died, no one was like mourning the loss of the Inhumans movie because we were like, oh yeah, Avengers Endgame is coming out 2 years later or whatever.
Do you think people would, if Marvel right now said, listen, we're not doing, look, Wonder Man, we thought we were going to do it. Granted, we know they're in production, we know they're shooting in certain cities. If they said, Wonder Man, we're not doing it. The Vision Quest, we're not doing it. What else have we announced? What other series have they announced far ahead? Those are like the last two. Everything else series-wise, they've announced, they've done. We haven't got any new series announcements. Only thing we're waiting on now are movies.
Movies, and like stuff they've like shot, right?
Yeah, that's what I said. I didn't count Ironheart and Agatha because those are done.
Right.
But you got like they say we decided we're not gonna do Wonder Man. We decided we're not gonna do Vision Quest. Well, people won't be mad at all. You'll be like, all right, cool.
You're like, I don't know what this is.
People don't know who Wonder Man is anyway.
Right.
So,
but that almost excites me because it's like I'm more worried about when they're like, oh yeah, we're gonna do a Fantastic Four movie, and in my head I'm like, they better do a good job. But it's like we're gonna do a Wonder Man show. It's like, okay, that could be whatever you want it to be.
We're not gonna do Moon Knight season 2.
Yeah.
Like they tell you, Moon Knight season 2 is not happening. I don't think people are gonna be that upset. Would you honestly be
not
upset?
After season 1?
Would you be honestly upset if Moon Knight season 2 did not happen?
Yeah, I'd be a little bummed. I don't even necessarily need a season 2. I would take a movie or, but we can't say no to that character. The only characters I think Marvel has put out that they might not bring back are the Eternals.
Oh yeah, because they didn't get a chance to do it right.
The only one coming back is Icarus. He's gonna pop right out of the sun.
I think him, yeah, because even Angelina Jolie and Jimmy Chan is Cersei.
The
and
Marvels.
Ajax, yeah.
I thought we were going to get
Cersei's
Icarus.
gone, I'm sorry.
I thought we were going to get
Icarus
in the Marvels when they started siphoning the sun. I thought he was going to like show up.
I thought he was just like just sitting there like,
I'm the Sun Man.
he like, hey y'all, how you doing?
Before we move on to the next topic, Ellie Finelli asked a good question. Could any of these shows get the Batgirl treatment? Do you think that Disney and Marvel would be willing to do this based on all the bad press that Warner has gotten post this or post, the Batgirling of certain projects?
I don't think Disney would throw away shot
secret
footage.
I think they would just drop it and just boom, here it goes.
I think
So
they would
they wouldn't shoot something, right? They would just say, "Hey, no more."
Yeah, but
you're
they're not
saying
going to shoot it just to be. If it's done, it's coming out again.
Yeah.
Echo, we talked about it on the show. How Echo was rumored to have so many problems.
They cut a bunch of stuff out of
They
it.
cut a bunch of stuff out, and then it was like, look, we're just going to drop all the episodes at once. Here you go, boom.
Yeah.
I don't think they'll be like, no, we're going to tax right, because Disney hasn't done that for anything that we've, like, again, the Eternals, it made sure it came out because
they put a movie like on streaming that they quickly took down. They've done that.
They've done that.
But they won't. I don't think they would totally scrap
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They'll release it, then remove it. but they won't just tax right off it.
I think it's especially hard for Marvel to do that because there are things in Ironheart that will be setting up.
Yeah.
So much, the magic level and everything. You get the hood.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Well, Batgirl's so separate from other things, right? But with like a setup,
right?
It because everything is so connected, it does make it a little bit harder for anything that has been established.
Well, this is like something that's like slightly interesting to me is Ironheart was originally intended to come out before Agatha Coven of Chaos and or Darkhold Diaries, whatever it's called now, and there were all of these like rumors that. I think we know Mephisto's going to be in Ironheart, but there were rumors that he was going to also show up in Coven of Chaos or Darkhold Diaries. It's just like, okay, if you swap the release of those shows, how do you manage that? Now, Marvel has experience with this once before with Yelena Belova.
Yeah, I was just going to say, we did that when it came to the original show.
Maybe that, but I was thinking Falcon and the Winter Soldier and...
WandaVision.
No. Falcon and the Winter Soldier and
Black
Widow.
Yes.
Those were supposed to be in different release orders, too. You have this character of Val. Now she's a pretty minor character in both of those both of those stories. But I'll be interested to see if that similar thing happens with Mephisto.
I mean, I guess because we've gotten used to it now. I get what you're saying, but I think because we dealt with it, you're like, all right, so...
But Sacha Baron Cohen shows up in like episode 6 of Agatha, and no one... they assume you're supposed to know who that is. It's like a little...
They'll shoot a green screen thing where he's like, my name's Robert Mephisto.
My name's Robert Mephisto.
What was Peter Fonda's name in Mephistopheles?
Mephistopheles?
They won't call him, they'll call him Mephistopheles like they did in fucking Ghost Rider.
Oh, yeah.
So I think Vision Quest, dead. I think Blade will be dead within 6 months.
No!
Man.
I don't think they have the guts.
It's not going to be them. It's not going to be them. Mahershala's going to pull out.
I don't think so.
I think he's been in it so far. He wants to do it.
But this movie got announced like 10 years ago.
Right,
don't do that.
5 years ago.
This isn't Black Adam. Do not do that.
Blade's gonna change the hierarchy.
You want to speak about a hierarchy of power,
I think it'll be good.
then you better put on your suit of armor. For Armor Wars, baby. What about Armor Wars? Will they prune this bad boy? This show was first announced as a Disney Plus series in December of 2020. Remember those days? Things were great. The most recent update.
I think it was more like August. Anyways, keep going.
Wasn't it all like their Comic-Con, whatever they did that year?
I mean, John's been great with dates so far, so we'll go with John.
Was that a joke?
Yeah, you confused 2020.
2025 in the beginning.
Right,
You did that.
So they announced that this was going to be a series on Disney Plus, and December 2020 when they had that whole kind of rollout, and then a month later they stormed the Capitol, dog. If you watch that presentation backwards, there's a secret message. So the most recent update about Armor Wars is that it was going to be transitioned to a feature film and not a series. This announcement came in the fall of 2022. Lots of speculation that Ironheart would roll right into this film. It was kind of like a setup for it. Of course, that like Rhodey was going to be like involved in this, but now Rhodey's been a Skrull since undetermined date when he was in a hospital gown. Could have been Civil War. Could have been any one of his checkups after that. Well, someone's gonna have to figure that one out.
Also, didn't Don Cheadle say that his contract was like up or something?
I think they're Marvel? Maybe. I think they're like always up now. I don't think they do that like seven-picture promise anymore.
Well, yeah, because Cheadle had one of the first ones, one of the original ones, where he had to decide last minute, and he got stuck in that whole 7-picture deal.
Stuck.
Made his career.
I think that's stuck.
Some people, but you know what? Some people don't now,
right?
Because you hear it because of the thing.
Well, I think they also don't want to promise anyone anything.
Well, I don't think it's just that. I think it's like we know Marvel films are successful for the most part, right? If you're an actor in the film, you're gonna make your money. It's producers and all those investors that back in money. The thing is, you have to cut out 2 years of your life at the most to do whatever project you're doing, especially if you're a character that involves a lot of CGI. Because now you got to come back on volume walls, on green screens, and all these other things, and do so much.
Well, if SAG hadn't fought so fucking hard, they could have all done this digitally.
What a scab. Clip it.
Sorry, Jay.
But I think Don Cheadle's got a good position to be in for these movies. He wears a little gray suit with dots on it.
That's right.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do anything to his face.
Give him the downy.
And also, if you know what the Armor Wars series is, it's basically all of every armor that we saw in Iron Man 3, and then the fact that the stuff that was happening in Iron Man 2, when you hear that the different countries were trying to make their own iron armor.
Yeah.
That's all it really is. And of course, I do agree that this was the greatest decision for them to do, to not make a series out of this.
Yeah.
Because
it should be a movie. It should be a high budget.
High budget, get it out the way.
Yeah.
Get it out the way.
Plus, it ties into, sorry, Jay, but
No.
the comics to like Battle World.
Yes.
And, you know, all that stuff for Secret Wars, which it seems like it plays right into it. But this is like a project where they kept leaving it off of timelines, and everyone would be like, what about Armor Wars? And they're like, oh yeah, that's still happening, don't worry.
And of course, like you said too, and I don't know if you got to it in the script, like, yo, Secret Invasion changed everything.
Yeah.
That Secret Invasion got people being like, hold on, time out. He been a what? He was where? So how does this work?
Right.
What about Tone? Like, it's a whole bunch
They're
of
gonna retcon the shit out of that.
Yeah. Like,
That's
it's
the number one thing they're gonna retcon.
It's a Skrull having this like intense conversation with Sam Wilson,
Which
about his role as
a
like,
black man carrying the
The
Captain
Skrull being like,
America
listen,
shield?
it's been a hot 6 months for me, but I've learned a lot. It's tough. I picked the wrong body.
Let me tell you something. There's protests. Hey, let me tell you something, Sam. I knew about them protests. Now, my world, my city, where I came from, we had protests, but y'all,
Let me tell you.
During the George Floyd protests and Black Lives Matter.
He's sitting in a hotel room like,
what?
what fucking body did I pick? Oh God! He's like, let me tell you a story. Let me tell you a story, Sam. When I came to this planet, me and a buddy, we flipped. He got Ryan Gosling, I got this guy.
But you know what? It's kind of like, it's similar to the Martian Manhunter story where he says, because Martian Manhunter is like, yo, I chose to be a black man in this country.
Mm-hmm.
So like, not only the racism that he faced in Mars, being green versus white Martians, but him going, yo, I chose to be a black man, and I didn't know y'all didn't like you people like this. But the Skrull seeing this is going to be weird, especially again, those conversations, finding out that the conversation he has with Sam, the conversation he has with Fury, those don't mean anything.
Right.
But then it's like, now we got to go to Armor Wars, and Sam Rockwell comes back as Justin Hammer.
Now, I hope they pivot this and use it in a way where it's like, now Rhodey is like, it's totally changed his point of view. And he's like, no, fuck these Skrulls. And he's the one like kind of pushing Armor Wars now, where he's like, he's a government military man, and it's what if like this experience has like changed his perspective, and he's like, no, I'm not an Avenger anymore. I'm the Ironmonger, dog. Like, let's go. I want to build these armor to go kill the Skrulls.
Sir, can I tell you something?
Yeah.
I just want to break this down to you.
Well,
there is no way you're going to allow a black man to be an Ironmonger.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
That's fair.
Just not going to do that.
You don't think this would make him angry?
Absolutely, we don't want to have that discussion during Black History Month. Catch me March 1st.
That's fair. I'm just trying to
Come back to the break room in about 3 weeks.
I'm trying to like justify what they're doing in Secret Invasion and try and make it work. For
I'll tell you
franchise
a
going
lot
forward.
when we get off here.
What is the most? What is the property that Marvel has forgotten about the most? Is it the Incredible Hulk?
What do you mean in terms of forgotten about?
I guess they've brought a lot of Incredible Hulk
'Cause they don't-
stuff
'cause they
back
can't
with
get
the
the rights
leader.
to it.
No, I'm just saying like, what
elements
what
of-
thing that they've because where I'm getting to is like Marvel is going to completely ignore the fact that they did Secret Invasion.
Yeah.
They're just going to be like, yeah, the events of that show.
I think they're going to tie
I'm wondering,
everything with it.
what is the most like sort of ignored corner of the MCU where Marvel kind of prefers for people to forget about?
To not
The
think about
Eternals.
it.
Yeah, I mean, but that's more recent.
I think that's the only one you can say,
The
though.
Eternals is a good example. I mean, there's like the little things, right? There's the guy, I forget his name, who steals like the Yellow Jacket formula.
Oh,
who was
Darren
like working
Cross.
with the 10
Goggins?
rings. Not Darren Cross. It's like
A Walton Goggins character?
no,
Oh,
not
yeah.
Walton
Sonny
Goggins. It's in the
Birch.
it's not Sonny Birch.
Fuck.
It's in the first Ant-Man. He's a guy who you see at the flashback at the beginning of Ant-Man who works for Shield.
Yeah, he's like that. He's
at
like
the-
that nondescript white dude.
Yeah, he's at the Yellow Jacket meeting
for
later,
sure,
where he's
sure.
selling to like the 10 Rings guy and the Russian guy.
So he's somebody that we don't know.
He works for Hydra, and like and they're like very distant. And like as the shit's going down, the building's exploding. He grabs some Yellow Jacket formula and yeets out of the room.
You know what's interesting?
And that is like an
He turned
Who's
into
that?
the Goop guy
Who's
in
the Goop guy?
in Quantumania.
He's Frogman.
Yeah. No, who's the guy who's like, you got to eat his goop?
The ooze.
Yeah, the ooze.
Drink the ooze.
I've seen that movie one time. Me and Evan.
Oh, yeah.
It was a
It
good
great
date.
time.
Evan, how many holes do you have?
Probably 8.
1,
Okay.
2, 3,
Ooh,
4, 5. Hey, I'm gonna say Armor Wars, not pruned.
Not pruned.
Not
Not pruned.
I think they'll have a lot of fun with that
I
one.
think that one is like that one's like a lot of stories in the MCU are
And
pointing
you
at
can,
it.
and you
they
can
have
throw
to, like,
characters
do some
into
shit.
it.
Yeah, not pruned.
It's a fun sandbox movie.
Thanks again to our friends over at Jelly Bean Planet.
Wow.
Hey, Valentine's. You ever heard of it?
Boom.
That guy has a day, and it's coming up, and it's February 14th. And it's definitely about candy. It's not about anything else. And you know what is a crazy coincidence? Today's Breakroom episode is sponsored by Jelly Bean Planet.
Put it in your mouth, John.
Jelly Bean Planet has this special 5-flavor jar of heart-shaped jelly beans, the Valentine Heart Beats, that are perfect for Valentine's Day. And look at just how big this jar is. Look at it. It's big.
Look at it. Look at
My head for scale.
And this has, we've eaten out of it already. The jelly beans are all natural flavors, plant-based colors, no GMO, no gelatin, no gluten, no palm oil. For just a limited time, from now until Valentine's Day, if you click the link in the description below and use the promo code, here we go, ready? It's a doozy. Get your pen, get your paper. 15NRJBPLANET. That's 15NRJB Planet if you're doing that. And you can get 15% off the jar of Valentine Heart Beats from Jelly Bean Planet on Amazon. Once again, click the link in the description below and use the code 15NRJB Planet to get 15% off a jar of Valentine Heart Beans from Jelly Bean Planet today.
I would just like to say to my future Valentine, if you're watching this, please
I'm watching it right now, baby.
declare your love to me in my DMs.
Okay,
Did I tell you the other night I was driving home and like I was going down my a street and there wasn't a lot of traffic and like all of a sudden like it got really still and quiet and this light shone down on my car.
You thought you were getting abducted?
I thought so, and then like I something happened and like all of a sudden it was like 45 minutes later. Right?
Whoa.
And I'm still sitting there.
Wow.
And I'm shaking because I just had an experience where I had an encounter with someone from the Jelly Bean Planet.
That's crazy.
Yeah. But it tasted delicious.
That is
Here's the
improv
question.
101 for you, ladies and
It's
gentlemen.
delicious.
Do you think they left anything in you when they probed you?
I don't know. I don't know.
Are you part bean now?
My face is different now. I think
Whoa! You got Mike Wazowski. Hey, we got some great new merch out. You've seen Brandon's Madam Web. No, put the thing back up.
No. No.
That's all we need is this. You've seen
Yeah, that really
Brandon's
is real.
Madam Web shirt on the internet. Now look at it in person. Are you guys here right now?
He was in the Amazon with my mother reaching spiders right before she died.
You know what else we just dropped?
What else?
Our Deadpool Eras Tour
Ooh,
shirt.
baby.
You don't have to buy it in pink, but it's available for you. It's also on a hoodie. Show graphic. Hey, someone hit me up on Twitter and was like, bring the purple hoodie back. And I fucking
purple hoodie is
listened.
nice.
And what I mean to say is, hit me up on Twitter if you
got
have
one
any
of
merch
those.
requests.
I got one of those purple
Hold on,
hoodies.
I ain't gonna lie. Can I see that hoodie one more time?
Whoa.
I want that.
It's good.
You want me to
that
get you
color.
one?
Yes.
Okay.
Please, I
I
like
have
that color.
I have the Anti-Hero Club.
Got a nerdriot.shop soon. Soon. I can't turn in this chair. Soon.
Oh, wait for it.
Okay.
Wait for
Look at
it.
that. Boom. See that?
I want to ask you a question. What's going to happen to Nova? Remember Nova?
I have
now
some
this.
beats.
This is a project. Right off the bat, this is pruned, completely pruned. This project was announced in March of 2022 with the Moon Knight writer Sabir Prasada, but no confirmation of what form it would take. And I feel like this was talked about way before March 22,
confirmed?
or just like talked about before.
No, it was before. I remember hearing this would be in a special presentation.
Yeah, it was rumored that it'd be like a special presentation. I heard it would be a show. Some people were like, oh, it'd be a standalone movie. This felt like something they were saying when it was just like, yeah, we're doing a bunch of stuff. This felt like a Chapek holdover, where Chapek's whole plan was like, tons of content on Disney Plus. We're just gonna keep growing subscribers because as kids are born, they're gonna want to subscribe to Disney Plus to see all this Marvel stuff. And then the subscriber growth bubble burst.
Bubble burst.
And so that's when a lot of these projects started getting canceled. It feels like Nova is a project that, I don't know.
You want to hear the truth?
Give
Yes.
me the truth.
Give us the
Okay. This is real.
Okay.
It was a show. It was a show. It was going to be a big boy show. And when I say that, I mean not this, 6-episode bullshit that they've been doing. It's
Okay.
going to be closer to the 18 episodes
Okay.
that they were planning to do for Born Again, although
Right.
that's been dialed back as well. I don't know if it's been canceled, but I
Okay.
suspect that it has been.
It feels like a weird kind of project. This is like a cosmic Marvel side, obviously, so do a lot of space.
Yeah, but don't it really? Nova just seems like you need the Guardians.
Yeah, I agree.
You need the Guardians,
Or a planet.
yeah.
Because like the
Fucking
Guardians,
Xandar's
The Xandar's
destroyed.
well, we just heard that it was like decimated. It doesn't mean like the planet was destroyed. It doesn't mean that like more than 50% of the population.
You're right. Mandalore was decimated.
Yeah.
We just had Mandalorian.
They got grass growing underneath the glass. Right. Also, I thought Mandalore was decimated for like 100 years. It was like 10 years. Get over it.
Yeah. Final verdict: pruned or not?
I think Nova. I think this could get pruned, right? And I think you have a great point where it's like, I forget who made the point. You need the Guardians for this, right? The Guardians.
I would never take that stance.
The Guardians are like our emissaries of space Marvel, right? They haven't done a space Marvel project that didn't involve the Guardians. You can maybe say Eternal.
No, just watch the Marvels or fucking.
Well, they just did the Marvels.
But even the Marvels, I would say, is like a lot of.
How are you feeling about Captain Marvel?
There's scenes on Earth, right? And like it's like jump gate technology, which is very like.
Well, we started
associated with the Guardians. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're right. No Guardians show up in that movie, but like. Wouldn't you have loved to see the Guardians in that movie?
No, you don't need them all. You just need a Guardian.
Right. Them to pass by or be like,
yeah, you just need a Guardian.
What would be the shittiest Guardian to get? Probably Kraglin.
Yep.
I don't know if he's really even a Guardian.
No, he is a Guardian.
You just gotta be like.
He's like leading them.
Yeah, he's the new leader since Star-Lord is who's supposed to remember the Star-Lord was gonna return too. So
I think the worst one to get would be Baby Groot. It would be adorable, but Baby Groot was a menace.
He's like a menace. He's a little guy. He can't move around. He's stuck in a pot. This is pruned, right? We all agree.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But again, I think they're almost better off doing these things that no one knows much about, rather than like trying to keep doing characters we've seen a bunch of.
You heard it here first, folks. Brandon wants Marvel to cancel the upcoming Fantastic Four movie and anything relating to
surprise me.
Deadpool and Wolverine.
Give me a weird thing. Hey.
Okay, so what I alluded to earlier when Jay was talking about, hey, would it be cool if they just dropped something, a movie or whatever, on Disney Plus? We also have this like idea of special presentations that Marvel introduced in 2022 with Werewolf by Night.
Yeah.
They did another one later that year with
Guardians
Holiday Special, or was that the following year?
No,
doesn't matter. We didn't get one in 2023. We don't have one on the calendar that we know about right now.
And they invented a whole new category.
They've got spotlight shows now. Do we think that like we're gonna get more special presentations, or is this whole category pruned?
It would be smart to do what James Gunn did, and like as they're shooting these movies, find ways to pivot those resources to also crank out a little project.
That was the rumor about Nova, was that maybe it was going to be spun off from something they were already shooting and become a special.
Like while you're shooting, you're doing all these pickups for Brave New World. You're doing
like,
months,
let's do this.
Months of reshoots. Like why couldn't?
What do you want? The Tiamat show?
Well, no. Yes. All right.
Tiamat.
A special presentation where like some deep sea fishermen run into Tiamat and it becomes a whole thing. Yeah, give me that.
The Banshees of Inisherin, but on Tiamat.
Yeah. If you're cutting the Serpent Society from Brave New World, just take that sequence and make it like a fun special presentation.
Yeah, but here's the thing. But they would have to have Captain America, right? They just can't be the Serpent Society.
Right, but you're on set now for another 4 months. You can't shoot a couple of things.
No, I get what you're saying.
You already shot the whole sequence.
Because your fucking wrestling boy is not going to be in the movie anymore.
I just want to get this done so we can talk more about wrestling with Twitch. That's all.
I think that the special presentations thing is going to be like an as they come up type of situation. They're going to be like, oh yeah, this would be a fun thing to do. We could keep it under $10 million. We'll make it. It would be fun. We'll put it on Disney.
I think it was a Chapek thing they might get rid of. Go ahead.
Yeah.
No. Is that what you want to say, Jay?
Yeah, that was.
Oh, okay. I think Or also, I agree with that, but also legally, like, do you think it's a way for them to skirt around calling something like a short film or a feature film? Like, is there some type of like business decision about why they would want to make something or give a character a special presentation?
I mean, the only thing I can think of, right, is that like the differentiation between a TV movie and a theatrical movie is probably similar with the new media type thing. But, you have stuff like Netflix movies that are on a different deal. So, yeah, maybe you're talking about new media contracts or something like that.
I think it's a promise to the audience, too. It's like, hey, this can just be like 45 minutes. And
it doesn't have to be
It's got a beginning, middle, and end, but it'll, like Werewolf by Night is almost in real time, one location.
I was just about to ask, how long was Werewolf by Night?
It's like 37 or something.
How long was The Guardians?
Pull that out of your ass.
I don't know.
How long was Guardians?
42.
Yeah, you can live. That's a scene. That's a day of.
Well, and that was like they had
real
the
numbers.
movie
We
sets.
got real figures.
They had
Yeah.
the movie sets built, and then they went to like Hollywood Boulevard and like a house in Beverly Hills, and they were done.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, you guys are right for Guardians, and then Werewolf by Night is 53 minutes.
But that means
Guardians was 42 on the dot.
A little over 40 minutes.
yeah. So like it's
44.
easy to do those.
At a music sequence.
It's not a short. It's not a short. It's not a
Yeah.
TV show. It's not a movie.
Would you want, like the Dar Ben?
Absolutely not. Can you end this show now? Because you just went on bullshit. End this show. You just nope. End this show. Brandon, please, because he didn't brought up Darben. Listen, I don't.
What about Rhodey being? He corners Tony Stark's corpse.
You want more
He's like-
Scrody?
He's like, "We're ironmongers, Tony," and he says it to.
in the Jeff Bridges voice?
He does Jeff Bridges' voice, and then he dresses as the dude, and he says, "The rug really pulled the place together."
That's it for us today. Make sure to subscribe to the Breakroom channel on YouTube and give us a follow on Twitch where we do these videos live. You can follow Brandon at,
You can follow me at Grin and Barrick on X.
and you can follow Jay at.
Mr. J Washington, MRJAY. You should know how to spell Washington on TikTok and Instagram. People don't know how to spell. I swear to God. They be like the letter
That's
J.
not their fault.
JAY. This is.
I would suggest not trying to avoid the pain and discomfort. Don't follow Jay. You can follow the Breakroom online at BreakroomNR, basically everywhere.
Heck yeah.
And we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.
Bye.